everybody, and welcome to another build video. So I know I have been putting a lot of these out recently this patch. I've been theory crafting really a lot on stream, having a ton of fun with it, and I wanted to make the best possible build for you guys. So I've been theory crafting, spending so many transmute gems, hence I have sod all left, and so much gold and gold mats and all that to get you the best of the best. And the one build that I've not properly serviced yet is a stamina-based gank. So for those who haven't seen my Magicka-based gank, check out Shocket Launcher. That'll be on the builds playlist. Really nice one there. But I've not done a stamina-based gank. And for that, we have, of course, the Stamina Nightblade. Though I guess this would work to a point on other classes, just not as reliably. And this is going to be a concept based around a build you might have seen from Decimus. So he's made a build using the Asylum Bow to basically use a snipe for a massive amount of gank. Now his is semi not a gank. I've gone a little further, amped up the damage through every threshold possible, given it a different form of sustain, and then we've added on the TankSpank on top. So it's a combination between TankSpank, BAM, and Decimus's Asylum Bow. And it's a gorgeous, gorgeous gank. I'll show you how it works in a sec, but I'm going to start off with the sets and all of that first. So our sets are as follows. We're using 5 Automatum. These are going to be double barred, so you want this on your jewellery or your armour. It doesn't actually matter which. And for me, it is 5 of these. You do not need divines. You will have enough damage anyway. So get a balance between well-fitted and impen. I currently run 4 well-fitted free impen. Really adjust that to whatever you're comfortable to on any stamina class, because it won't really change. We're then running with 1 Velodrift. So that Velodrift is going to be for the weapon damage. However, we're now running a 5-piece back bar only, and that is Shadow Walker. So this is the helmet, free jewellery, and 2-handed sword. Now what this does is it gives us weapon damage, stamina recovery. So 2 really nice gank stats. Stamina recovery is not perfect for gank, but it's nice. Bit of sustain never goes badly. But most importantly, it gives us burst sustain, so that when we've done a couple of ganks, we're running low, we move out and we literally just refuel. Easy. How this works is when you are sneaking or invisible and not moving or healing, you restore an absolute ton of stamina. So if I quickly show you that in action, I am going to burn through all of my stamina real fast, shuffle and roll dodge. And then we're just going to go into stealth like so. Go on our 2 in a bar, and you're going to watch my stamina absolutely torpedo up to full. So within about 3-4 seconds, we're going to be full stamina and we're good to go. Now, obviously next patch you have Meditate perhaps coming out with Wardenfell. You would have seen that in my Somerset review. Again, check that out if you haven't already. But for the time being, this is a great way to get around it. And it's a really nice way to refuel and actually have a chance. So, that's our general sort of bar setup. Our final piece, however, is the Asylum Perfected Bow. You do not need the perfected version of this. The normal version, the Asylum Bow, is just from Asylum, and you can farm that even in normal. Not just hard mode, but normal. It doesn't have to be vet. That's really easy to get. It's not quite as strong as perfect, so this one gives you, when you use arrow spray, you cause your enemies to hit, that you hit with that, to take 50% more damage from the next direct damage portion of your snipe, poison arrow, or scatter shot. We're using that obviously to amp up our scatter shot, and the perfect bow gives 50%, the non-perfect gives 45%. The 5% does sort of add up, but it's not the end of the world if you don't have that. Our skills then are as follows. Now note there are some skills double barred, that's important, I will explain why. So first things first, obviously we need snipe, and we have a monstrously high tooltip here, properly buffed, close to 20k, not quite, somewhere about 18. With the resource buff we can get up to 20. And then we are using, obviously, Bombard. Now, it's very important that you take the Focused Aim and Bombard morph of these. You're using Automatum, which increases physical damage. It does not increase poison damage. And we have to go with physical damage route so that our 2-hander gets buffed as well. You want to go with the physical damage morphs, I just absolutely assure you. Next, we're going to have Relentless. So, Relentless Focus is going to give us 8% more damage. But more importantly, it's going to give us an assassin skill on the front bar. Well, I guess that's both important. But we do need an assassin skill front bar for our assassin passives, 10% more crit damage. That's going to help a decent chunk. Cloak, obviously our escape, you want the crit guarantee from that one, so that's the right move to go for there. And then we are running Flawless Dawnbreaker as our ultimate front bar. This is simply to buffer damage. I rarely use this unless there is a fight that I can't really get the combo off and somebody dodges that I could have killed. I might dump it at that point because it's undodgeable, but it's basically just there as passive weapon damage. That's the only reason it's on there, hence Flawless. Final skill then is going to be Evil Hunter. This is not ever going to be casted unless you are hunting someone in stealth, where you might as well just use the tech pot. It is literally just there for the crit on the front bar, because we are not using a potion that gives us crit, and the better our crit chance, the better, because we want to be able to crit our focused aim, which is not going to get a guarantee from Cloak, and our TankSpank, which is not going to get a guarantee from Cloak. Our 2-outer bar then, we are using, again, Evil Hunter. Same reason, you've got a double bar because on the bar it's slotted. Shuffle is going to help us escape if there are snares everywhere and we're caught. Rally is going to give us Major Brutality and that burst heal. Vigor for sustained heal. And Mark, any assassin skill goes on the back bar at this point. You might like Ambush, I don't know. You can try that. I'll explain where that can be useful. I personally think the Mark is the best because it's going to help against tanky targets that are stupid and don't block. Or it's going to help against your sort of general Night Lady shit. Finally, our big boy ultimate is Onslaught, my absolute favourite. So this ignores all resistance, and it is what makes this gank work. Because if you get them low, they are screwed. There is no surviving it because it ignores every bit of resistance. The only things that mitigate that are direct damage in the CP, hardy in the CP, and crit resistance. Outside of that, full damage, job's a good one. So it hits very, very hard. Far better than Incap for this build. What makes it even better, however, is because this guild is really insta-kill and get out of there, you instantly get your ultimate back. Because if you kill them with the ulti, you get the ulti back. And if you haven't killed them with the bow, you're probably going to kill them with the ulti. It's pretty likely. So, that is the general skills and the general sets. Now, I'm going to quickly show you how we actually do this. Sans Jesus has volunteered himself as a victim. So, let's get him in combat real fast. So what you're going to do before the fight is you're going to start in stealth, and you're going to buff yourself up with rally, and you're going to buff yourself up with relentless. You're going to make yourself around the back of the target, because there we're going to guarantee the stealth buff that will guarantee the crit on our snipe, and on top of that is also going to guarantee a stun. You want to get to a distance about here-ish, on the edge of your bombard range, and then you're going to pop your pot for speed. I'll show you that pot in a sec. You're going to cast Snipe, and just as the animation's moving, you're going to cast Bombard, move in, and your ulti, and that's where you're going to get the kill. I'm an idiot and didn't start with an ulti, so we're going to let him heal up real fast. I'm going to show you that in a slightly better spot, because that was shit, basically. Why did I forget my ulti? Now, note that depending on your target, a lot of targets you're not going to need to use Onslaught. It's really going to depend on their CP, so if you're not killing them quickly, they've probably got good CP. Well done, Santa. Good CP. If their CP is not well placed, that's not a big amount, just not well placed, you're going to kill them so fast it won't matter. So let's do that one more time. We're going to buff up, snipe. As that snipe's going, light attack, asylum, and onslaught. And that's where you'll get your kill. So the 3 in combination guarantees the kill. Some targets will just die. A lot of targets will just die to snipe and bombard. More damage, the merrier after all. I hope that's understandable. It's simple enough. Rally and Relentless pre-buff. Cast your snipe. Then your bombard as it's in the air. You need the range on it so that as the snipe goes aerial, it gets a lot of height and your bombard hits the target before the snipe so you get the buff. If you start too close, your snipe's going to go flat and it will hit before bombard and you will not get the buff on your snipe. So that's really important. I know, Josh, I know. Now, one final comment to quickly show you here while we get him in combat is for those of you who are fighting targets that are tanky but are rubbish. And that's where ambush can actually be useful. So again, we're going to start in stealth. We're going to do exactly the same combo. I'm going to do it nice and slowly for you. So we're going to snipe, light attack, bombard. But this time, we're going to weapon swap, ambush, and then onslaught. And that way we get the empower on our onslaught. Obviously, you'll do that smoothly, but that's going to give you a bit more damage on the burst because ambush is going to hit like 4 or 5k and you're going to get onslaught. However, it's a bit of a delay, so a quick player will get out of that, and that is why I prefer Mark as my buff there. Other stuff to mention then. So we are using the following food. It is the bear haunch food. This is going to give us max health, max health, magic recovery, stamina recovery. Now, Dubious Camera Throne will give you a lot more damage. It's going to give you about 2k more burst. But your Mag Sustain is going to be poop then. As it is, if I get caught in a fight, I have a fair chance of fighting back or moving out, depending on the target. Obviously, if there's someone experienced, this is essentially a gank build, so you're probably screwed. But a lot of targets, I'm going to be able to fight back manually, simply because I have the magical sustain that this offers. If you're poorer and don't want to buy gold food, there is another one, Jewels of Misrule. It just gives a bit less. It's not that bad. It'll be fine. Our potions, you're really going to want to have something with detection available when times are hard. So try get something with detection. That's going to help you in sort of stand blade versus stand blades, especially if they mark you and you need to mark them. But our main potions are going to be as following. This one I very rarely use, so this is Major Savagery. In fact, I haven't used it at all today on stream. That's how rarely I use it, but sometimes it can be nice. It gives us that crit buff, and it gives us health and stamina back, but you don't have the speed buff, and that speed buff is really helpful for guaranteeing the Asylum buff. What that lets you do is it lets you drop the Evil Hunter from both bars and gives you a bit more freedom to slot maybe Fear and Image. You do have the sustain to use them, so why not? But in the end, your best pot is definitely this one here. Immovability, speed, and stamina. The immovability doesn't matter much, but it's free of charge. Stamina, fantastic. It's going to help sustain. And then, of course, Major Expedition is exactly what we need for getting in and out with this gank. Our Mundus is the Warrior. We are a stage 4 Vampire, an absolute must-have, because if you don't have that, you won't have the movement speed and stealth. And our stats you can see as follows. Now, keep in mind that it doesn't show Ultimatum on there. Roughly speaking, we're buffed to like 5k weapon damage with Ultimatum, with 3200 stamina, or 3600 if we go with the Dubious Cameron. Last but not least, we go into our CP. Our CP then are as follows. Green Tree, 52 into Warlord, 39 in Sprinter. So that's going to give us reduction there, but Sprinter is really important. It's going to help us escape when shit gets real. You don't really want to care about getting wild running. It's not mattering that much because you're not in the fight for long. But you are going to want a bit of Magicka Sustain and a bit of Mooncraft. I go for 56 Mooncraft and 27 Arcanist. And then finally 66 in Tumbling. If you get caught and you're marked, that's the only way you're going to live. You want that as cheap as possible. So 66 is great. You're never going to block. You can put points in there, but I would suggest leveling up Ledge Domain. I'll show you that passive real quick. So in your Ledge Domain passives, the Stealing, I'm going to pre-warn you, this sucks to level, hence I haven't done it. You get this one here, Improved Hiding. 10% for each level, you can get 40% cheaper sneak. That's really good for helping sort of set up the gank. Doesn't matter that much, but it makes it a little easier. Red Tree then, we have nothing in healing. We have so much weapon damage that it doesn't really matter. And besides, most of the time we're not even going to be in the fight. We're going to one-shot. But we have 43 Hardy, 43 Elemental Defender, and 40 Thick Skin. Stacking heavy in this tree. You don't want to take damage. You want to get out of there efficiently. And that also unlocks Unchained, which is a fantastic passive for all stamina classes. Next, lastly but not least, 56 in Ironclad and 56 Resistance for direct damage and crit resist. Stacking this fairly high, especially since some of you may choose to run Divines, which will give you more damage. But it's just important we reach that Resilient passive. Reinforced, doesn't matter at all. Last but not least, in the blue tree, very, very easy setup here. We want to stack Mighty, Precise Strikes, and Direct Damage as high as possible, and dump the rest into Piercing. So 64 Mighty, because reaching 14% is too much point investment. 73 Precise Strikes for the crit damage, and 73 in Master Arms for direct damage for the big boy hits on our Onslaught. Onslaught ignores resistances, so we don't need too many in Penetration. Penetration, we do want some because we've got points left over. So bam, that's going to help our snipe. 30 points there. And we are unlocking the important passives in here. Nothing else really matters passive-wise. I think I've covered everything. So a few disclaimers here that I think I'll get asked. Can I run Agility and Veladrift? Yes, it will give you more damage, but your sustain's going to suck. It's still playable. You're going to hit a lot harder, but it's going to be annoying to play. Can I mix up with the Ultimatum and Shadow Walker? Absolutely. If you want to run on the jewelry, feel free. Do you need gold? No. Can I run Divines? Divines will give you more damage. Now, if you choose to run with Veladrift and Agility, by the way, you can also go 5-1-1. Next patch that will change because two-handers can give you that double slot piece. Do I need the perfect? No, of course not. And best race, I would say, is going to be Wood Elf by a long way because you get that stealth damage and it's a stamina race. Any other questions, ask me in the description. There's always going to be someone who says this build shit, so feel free to do it. I'll time you out. And I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope this was useful. I do have a montage coming out in the near future. I'm trying to reach 500 subs on Twitch as my sort of big goal for that. It's going to be really big, sort of an hour-long plus. Very, very movie-like editing. I've got a really sexy clip with this build in that. So you will see footage of this build if you wait. There's always someone says, clips, question mark. There you go. Timestamp that for them. Tell them where it is. Good luck, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.